Costello quickly began to realize there was a threshold he could step beyond and fall victim to with the mushrooms. Avery did a very good job of dosing him just enough to jar his prefrontal cortex, while not causing any paranoia, fear, or too much euphoria. The effects were simply just brightening the lights and sounds while hosting Costello in his own existence. A glimpse into what kept him quiet when he wanted to be loud. A glimpse into what pushed him inside when he wanted out. However, he was able to look around corners and see how just a bit more could flip a switch and possibly give him the darkness he so often desired. He ran up to Avery and told her he was sorry for going on and on about how beautiful the city was, while he had failed to tell her he couldn't help but see her beauty. He thanked her for taking this risk with him and assured her it was a positive experience, one he would certainly be looking to her for guidance again in the future. Then he said he'd heard enough from himself. He wanted them to go have some fun. They stayed within 1 block, but Costello thought they crawled all over Los Angeles. Avery took a shot at going into a bar and keeping him on a soda water and lime regimen, just to get him off the surface streets because he couldn't stop talking to everyone that passed. He finally got hungry and took Avery to his favorite Peruvian restaurant. He went on and on about the hundreds of times he'd eaten late-night lomo saltado. In reality, it had been maybe a dozen times. But you wouldn't know that from the staff. They treated Costello and Avery like family. It was her first taste of Peruvian food, and she was an instant fan. After they finished, Costello grabbed Avery's hand and they stopped outside the door. He asked her if she would stay at his place. She didn't hesitate. However, Costello had one condition. He reminded her they slept together the first night they went out, violating an oath Costello maintained. He asked if they could stay together without sex. He wanted to have that night back and a chance to show her he would always be the guy who enjoys their time together and learning about one another while holding out on being physical. Avery got a nice laugh and told him she had no problem with this request, though didn't want him to forget what an amazing night they had when they broke his oath. He joined her in laughter and said that they could go ahead and forget about his oath and hurry back to his apartment. Avery couldn't help but have fun with this whole dialogue. She was entirely committed to an evening together without sex now. She told Costello she could never live with herself if she didn't allow him to keep his oath and respect his own integrity. This banter went on all the way back to his apartment, where they both fell asleep, fully clothed, at 3 a.m. Avery woke up at 5 a.m. on top of the covers and decided it was safe to go ahead and get undressed. They only had a few more hours to sleep, so may as well get comfortable. She found an unopened toothbrush and cleaned up a little before returning to Costello's bed. When she came back, he was wide awake. She asked if he was doing okay. He said he was fantastic, other than being woken up by hearing her stumbling around brushing her teeth and whatnot. She gave him a glare and asked if he was going to do the same. Costello got out of his clothes and looked at his watch. She gave him an inquisitive look. He told her it appears to be a brand new day. She nodded in approval and they went on to take care of the business both of them were bullshitting themselves about 3 hours ago. Just as the sun began to peek through the buildings of Los Angeles, they dozed off and got a few more hours of sleep before waking up to another day preparing for the tour de Maine.